Hello, my fellow burbs. This is part 2 to Milkbread Madness and part 3 to Fanfic reading. I uploaded the first part of this like 10 hours ago. It's almost midnight when I'm recording this. Sorry for any background noise you might hear. My dad's watching something in the living room, which is right outside my bedroom. But this is Milkbread Madness part 2. Credits for the fanfic go to dorkpop2000 on Wattpad. Wait. Fuck, what was I about to say? Let's just get into it. While Aikawa was having a shower, Iwizumi decided to use his precious time wisely and study in his bedroom. He could have continued making the milk bread, but that wouldn't be fair on Aikawa. Iwizumi peacefully wrote his notes and glanced at his computer now and then, trying to fully understand the new information he had retrieved in class today. He read the passage word by word, concentrating. It was all making sense to him now. He just needed to memorize it. Swiftly, he opened an app on his phone and typed the terms and definitions he had to learn into digital flashcards. Halfway through the process, he heard a creak from his bedroom door. He turned over to see Aikawa in a towel with a towel wrapped in his head. He was still wearing his PE clothes, which were dry. So, you didn't take a shower? Iwizumi said, confused. I just washed my hair. It literally took you an hour and a half to wash your hair? What the hell? Usually I'd take 5 minutes, Aikawa explained with a smug face. But since I'm in your house, my parents don't need to worry about the gas and electricity bill, so I can spend as much time in the shower as I please. Might as well take the opportunity. I don't have to worry about how much money the shower took at the end of the day. It's not my household, not my problem. Imagine not being scared to shower at your friend's house. I have a friend who I've been friends with since the 3rd grade, and even when we were in like 5th and 6th grade, I would still be terrified to shower at their house. Iwizumi glared at Aikawa. You really are a piece of trash. Aikawa noticed some schoolworks on Iwizumi's desk. Have you been revising? Yeah, Iwizumi replied. I don't want to enter class clueless tomorrow. Have you already made the milk bread? No, I waited for you. We can continue later. I want to revise a bit more. Okay, I'll help you out. Aikawa walked to Iwizumi's study table and peered over at his computer screen. It would be good for me to revise a bit as well. For 30 minutes, the two of them revised. Aspects which Aikawa didn't understand, Iwizumi would help him out, and aspects which Iwizumi didn't understand, Aikawa would help him out. Wow, Iwizumi was astonished. We got through so much in a relatively short amount of time. Impressive. I'm the only one who, never really studies. I just look back at my notes when I'm working on, schoolwork or stuff. We should revise together more often, Aikawa suggested. We already do, but when we start preparing for exams, we should study together after school. Not all the time, though. Twice a week. Yeah, Iwizumi agreed. Let's continue making the milk bread now. It's good to have study breaks. All right. Aikawa nodded and made his way downstairs. I've been missing that sugary, heavenly, milky taste, even if it's been less than 24 hours. They reached the kitchen and noticed how the place looked like a mess from Aikawa screaming around endlessly 2 hours ago. Sorry, Iwa. Aikawa apologized nervously. Oh, well. They both went to wash their hands. Aikawa saw his phone on the counter, unlocked it, and looked at the recipe. You can crack the egg this time, Aikawa said to Iwizumi. I'll melt the butter. Is that okay? Yeah, Iwizumi reached for an egg and flawlessly cracked it open. Yeah, same. I'm really good at cracking eggs. I find them satisfying. No fair! Aikawa glared at him. I wish I could crack open eggs like that. Aikawa popped the butter into the microwave for a minute. After 15 seconds, he started hearing popping noises from the microwave, which made him scream. He jumped. Without hesitation, Aikawa opened the microwave and attempted to take out the butter. However, the bowl was incredibly hot and burned Aikawa's hand. Oh my god, yeah, melting butter in the microwave gives me so much anxiety, but I continue to do it anyway because it's the easiest. Out! He placed the bowl on the counter while barely bearing the immense pain from the hot bowl. Quickly, he ran to the sink, opened the tap, and put his hand directly under it. The ice-cold water splashed onto his hand, and Aikawa let out a sigh of relief. That's better. Iwizumi already had the melted butter, added the melted butter to the flour and egg. Oi, loser Aikawa, could you pass me the yeast mixture? Aikawa picked it up and gave it to Iwizumi. Iwizumi poured it into a medium-sized bowl, which contained the flour, butter, and egg. Next, he reached for a rubber spatula and mixed everything. Jeez, why is it so sticky? Iwizumi said, frustrated. You should use your hands. That'll be better. That's what she said. Aikawa suggested. Iwizumi began to mix the ingredients with his hands instead. It didn't help much. Now his hands were all sticky. Damn it! He raged. Just continue. It'll get less sticky. Izumi continued mixing the ingredients. Oikawa was somewhat right. It was less sticky, but it wasn't that much of a difference. You know what? Izumi said. That'll do. We'll add a bunch of oil to the dough to make it less sticky. He walked over to the sink to rinse the little bits of dough off his hands. Oikawa checked his phone. We have to add oil to the dough to prevent stickiness and add flour to the surface, which we're kneading the dough on. Okay, you can do that, and I'll preheat the oven and clean up a bit. Izumi nodded. You didn't preheat the oven before you started the process? I preheat the oven before I start, so it's done by the time I put the stuff in the oven. Idiots. Okay, Oikawa poured a little bit of oil onto the dough and dumped it on the flour-sprinkled counter. Slowly, he kneaded the dough. The longer he did, the stickier it became. He decided to pour a little more oil, but it was the same outcome. The dough got stickier as he continued to knead it. He poured half a cup of flour on the dough instead. It helped immensely, but the dough was stiffer than it was supposed to be. Izumi was cleaning the surfaces. He walked over to where Oikawa was. Oikawa was kneading the dough to see how he was doing. Don't tell me you added more flour, Izumi said. Okay, Oikawa said, relieved, and continued to knead the dough. Oikawa, Izumi squinted his eyes. Did you add more flour? Yes, Oikawa said anxiously. Was I not meant to? You're not meant to add a lot of additional flour to bread dough. It stops the dough from rising as much as it should. While you're kneading the dough, a chemical reaction is taking place. Adding more flour slows the reaction to the point that it may not happen at all. It's okay to add a little to prevent stickiness and all, but too much isn't. Oh. The dough's meant to be a little sticky and elastic. Is that how the dough is? Oikawa stretched the dough a little. It was kind of elastic, but a little stiff. It'll do, I guess, Oikawa said. I mean, milk bread is still milk bread, whether it rises or not, right? Maybe. Izumi knelt and opened a cabinet. He reached for a bowl, closed the cabinet door, rose up, and placed the bowl next to Oikawa. I'll pour some oil on it. Here, you can put the dough on it as well. They just did that, and Izumi covered the bowl with cling film. While they left the dough to rise, they cleaned up the kitchen. It was a mess, but within 25 minutes it was clean. It was as clean as it was when Oikawa had first entered. They did some revision and chatted for half an hour. For the remaining 5 minutes, Izumi placed 2 loaf tins on the counter, added parchment paper, and Oikawa brought out 2 rolling pins. They peered over at the bowl with the dough, and Izumi removed the cling film. It hardly rose, Oikawa whined. I mean, it did, but, it's your fault, Izumi scolded as he gently punched the dough. He wasn't punching it because he was mad or anything. The instructions said to. How was I supposed to know? Oikawa split the dough in 2. You could have kneaded the dough instead. Oikawa and Izumi rolled the doughs, then folded and placed them into loaf tins. They waited 30 minutes for the dough to rise again. Oikawa then glazed them with egg and milk. Izumi opened the oven. Oikawa handed him 1 loaf tin at a time and then slowly slid them into the oven. He then set a timer for 20 minutes. Now what do we do? Izumi muttered. We could do some volleyball drills outside, Oikawa suggested. Alright, after 20 minutes of volleyball drills, they entered the house and Oikawa could smell the heavenly scent of milk bread. He closed his eyes. I've missed you so much. They entered the kitchen. Izumi put on oven gloves and brought the loaf tins out of the oven. They're still hot, Izumi said as he noticed Oikawa. He noticed Oikawa deadly staring at the milk breads. Let them cool down. Iwa-chan. Oikawa slowly reached for the milk bread. Please, speak up. I couldn't quite hear you there. I said the milk bread was still hot, so let them cool down. Okawa's hand was getting closer to the milk breads. Iwa-chan, you're awfully quiet today. Mind if you spoke up a bit? What are you on about? Izumi hissed. I'm not being quiet. Don't eat it yet. Don't eat it yet? Oikawa was winding up Izumi. His hand was hovering over the milk bread. Iwa-chan, you're speaking a lot more rubbish than you usually do. Don't eat it yet. Are you deaf or something? Oh, Oikawa said sarcastically. You don't want me to eat the milk bread yet? Iwa-chan? Oikawa's fingertips were only a few millimeters away from the bread. Yes, I do not want you to eat the milk bread yet! Izumi noticed how close Oikawa's hands were to the milk bread now. Oh, you wouldn't dare. Oh, I would, Iwa. Oikawa's hands were now basically touching the milk bread. He paused for a second, staying still, staring at Izumi, and within a millisecond, he shoved the milk bread into his mouth. Oikawa crouched to the floor. His mouth couldn't fully close due to the fact an entire loaf of bread was stuffed into his mouth. Heaven, he mumbled, while trying to chew the bread. It's like I'm in heaven. Izumi looked fed up. I seriously don't even know why I even agreed to make milk bread with you. This is way better than store-bought milk bread. While Akawa attempted to talk, milk bread crumbs were coming out of his mouth. Iwa, can I? No, Iwa's sister. What? I didn't even finish my sentence. No, I am not coming over. I do not want you coming over to my house every day from now on to make milk bread. Are you delusional or something? Izumi rolled his eyes. That wasn't what I was going to say. Akawa stood up. His words were less muffled as he had eaten most of the milk bread in his mouth. All right, then what were you going to say? Yeah, that's what I thought. Izumi smiled. Okay, that is the end of it. My motivation completely crashed, so this one isn't really that great by my usual standards. But that's it. I don't know when my next video will be posted, whether it's a comic dub or fanfic reading. My motivation's kind of going down a little bit, but it could also be because it's super late and my meds have started to wear off. But that's it for today. I love you guys. Thanks for watching. Bye.